Hey guys, it's actually training day 9. I forgot to record for training day 8, so this will be an update for yesterday, training day 8, as well as this morning, training day 9. So yesterday was I don't know if I would say it was a breakthrough moment, but you know, I worked very closely with Micah. You know, I told him really, you know, my concerns about the heights, and you know that I was struggling with getting comfortable up in the air, and you know, I was, you know, questioning whether I should continue on because it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. Yeah, and I was kind of bummed out about it. And you know, Micah and I spoke, and he basically said, you know, hey, let's just try to get back up again. You know, we'll talk through it. You know, we'll take baby steps, kind of thing. And you know, I obviously don't want to quit, so you know, I was very eager to try again. Obviously with some trepidation. But then you know, we went up that morning. I had a flight. Felt pretty good about getting up. Still very nervous in the air, but you know, I don't know if I would say I was more comfortable, but you know, Micah did talk to me on the radio, you know, and basically just you know, kind of joked around a little bit, talked, you know, kept me calm, had me look around, you know, just take some deep breaths, take it in, you know, and that helped a lot. So then I came down, landed perfectly. It's a great landing. And then I went to set up for the next flight yesterday morning, and I brought the wing up. Now I've got a 30-meter wing that I'm using because it's boaty, so it doesn't oscillate as bad. You know, I can't feel the turbulence as much on that wing, or at least I perceive it that way, because I think it just plows through rougher air, and I think it makes me feel more stable in the air, even though it, like I said, it's basically a giant boat wing. It's huge, so it takes a lot of effort to get it off the ground, especially if the wind is like 1 mile an hour or 0. Anyway, so I went to get the wing up, and it started to roll left. So you know, I tried to step underneath the wing and pull a little bit of right brake, and I ended up stepping in a damn turtle hole. You know, I've lived in Florida for 4 years. I never even heard of a turtle hole, and there's these giant holes in the field where turtles have burrowed underground, and they're kind of hard to see in the field unless you're like almost right on top of them. And then when the wing rolled left and I looked left to adjust the wing tip, you know, by pulling right brake, I looked to the left and I stepped in this turtle hole, and bam, crumpled right to the ground, and banged my left shin into the ground super hard. And you know, Micah helped me up, and I had this huge knot on my shin. And at first I was like, it's nothing, but you know, it looked pretty swollen, and Micah was a little concerned that, you know, I had all this adrenaline pumping, and you know, it might be more serious than it looks. And so he suggested I stop for a minute, go put some ice on it. So that was the end of my flights for that morning. You know, I went back to the hangar, put some ice on it. You know, it sucks because I think I could have gotten another 1 or maybe even 2 more flights if I hadn't have stepped in that damn turtle hole. You know, if that's the worst that's going to happen in this entire training, then that's, you know, that's a good thing. But yeah, I was really upbeat because I had such a good flight that morning. The winds were practically 0, so there was no turbulence. The air was like butter smooth. You know, I could take a bunch of laps, and you know, I practiced doing weight shift turning. So Micah had me stow the brakes, and you know, really use your weight leaning left and right to make those turns within the seat. You're basically looking at the ground, and it's a little bit unnerving. But the more you do it, the more you realize that you're perfectly safe, and it's actually it actually is better than using the brake to turn, because you don't really slow down or lose much altitude. You know, you just kind of whip around into a nice gentle turn without having to pull any kind of brake, and then of course use power to get back up or maintain that altitude. So I think I hit about 500 feet yesterday, so personal record in terms of altitude. You know, I wouldn't say that I felt comfortable, but I certainly was not as panicky as I was the first day of solo flights. So I guess in some regard you might say that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with the height, at least yesterday morning. And then we broke for lunch, and then I went home, came back later that day. You know, my leg felt much better, and so I managed to get in 3 flights, three flights that evening. So in total, as of the end of training day 8, I've done 6 solo flights, and you know, I wrapped the day feeling elated, I guess is a good word to describe it. You know, I felt really good about my progress, felt really good about where I was at. And then this morning we got out there. Yesterday and today both had fog days, so we had to wait for the fog to clear. Today it took a long time for the fog to clear out, so we didn't get up until I think we got people into the air about 8, and then we had to come back down because a new fog had rolled in. We had to wait for that to burn off, and then that fog eventually started to dissipate, and then I went up into the air. I managed to get another 3 flights. One of those was a touch and go. So in total, I think I'm up to, I want to say either 9 or 10 flights. I'd have to go back and look at the board, but you know, we mark our flights to count the number of flights we've taken. And I think that I am up to, I think it's 9. I think I've done 9 solo flights so far. It is getting easier getting into the air, and I do feel more confident. My skill and technique are fine. And the instruction is awesome, so I don't feel concerned about those aspects. I'm still dealing a little bit with the height. Sometimes I get up there and I'm like, ooh, this is really high. But you know, the more times I go up and expose myself to it, it does get a little bit easier each time. If you take training day 7 and compare that to training day 9, I would say that there's a pretty big difference mentally between those training days. You know, every time I get up into the sky on a solo flight, it does get a little bit easier. I do feel more comfortable and confident with the heights. There's still a fear, but you know, it's starting to be something that's a little bit more manageable than when I was up training day 7. And so training day 7, when I looked at this and I said, man, you know, am I going to continue with this sport after? I was like 100% no. I was going to finish out the training, and then, you know, if I guess there's really no if, right? I was gonna finish the training, and that was it. I was done. But you know, now that we've gone up 9 times in solo flights, I think that you know, if you ask me now, would I continue? You know, I now I'm on the fence, right? You know, I see the fun of this. It's certainly a lot of fun. You know, I could totally see doing this, you know, after. My concern is that I don't really have a lot of places I can fly out of, but that's a big concern, right? I mean, you as a beginner, you almost need to have a huge field because you haven't gotten your spot landings down, and launch and landing are kind of all over the place, right? You don't even know where you're going to go yet because you don't have that finite control. So that's a bit of a concern. You know, if I did decide that I wanted to continue with this and move forward, you know, that's my big concern. You know, where am I going to launch and land from that's going to be safe for somebody that's a beginner? And I don't know. In some regards, I do wish that I lived up here closer to Denellen, because I could probably fly in and out of the Denellen airport, and continue to work with Micah and Judson to continue to hone my skills around paramotors. But I don't live up here, and so that's a huge concern, right? Where do you fly in and out of? As a beginner, I don't know if I will have the technique and skill down or perfected to a point where, you know, I could just take off from anywhere. I don't know if I would feel comfortable with that. So yeah, that's a bit of a concern. I am also not sure about gear, right? So I've been flying with a 30-meter wing. Man, that thing is a beast to get up. I got these huge bruises on my arms from trying to get that wing to come up, and yeah.